So we're gonna start off with brows. I feel like brows is a perfect starting point just because it just helps to frame your face. It just gives you a nice starting point when doing your makeup. But that's me personally. A lot of people like to start with other things before their brows. Me, I personally feel like brows is like the starting point of makeup. So I'm gonna go in with the Makeup Revolution eyebrow pencil. This is in the shade dark brown, and I am going to zoom you guys in a bit closer just so you guys can really see what I'm doing. So my brows are semi-groomed. They're not the greatest right now, but we are just going to work with what we have. Brow products vary between most people. Some people like using a pencil, some people like using a pomade, others like using powders. It's really up to you and what your brows need. For me, I do have brow hairs to work with, so I like using a pencil just to fill in the sparse areas. So that is what I'm doing here. And I'm using a very light hand. I'm not drawing on lines. I'm literally just creating brow strokes with my pencil. So we are going to fill in the brow. Now keep in mind, brows are supposed to be sisters. They do not need to be twins, so meaning they don't need to look exactly the same. They just need to somewhat mirror each other and look asymmetrical to each other. I do have a brow tutorial on my channel for you guys to check out if you do want a more detailed eyebrow tutorial. So now I'm gonna go ahead and shape and outline my brows. So I do like to use two different concealers for that. So I like to use a darker shade for the top and a more lighter shade for the bottom. So that's just supposed to give an illusion of a more lifted and shaped brow. So I like to go in with a concealer that's about 1 to 2 shades lighter than my natural complexion. I am going in with my L'Oreal Infallible Concealer. This is in the shade Honey. And I'm just using my flat brush. I've used this so much that it's just completely flat now. So I'm just going to use this to outline underneath my brow. And a tip for outlining your brow, your pinky is always your guide, and what you want to do is place it on your face where it falls, and that's going to just help you have control of the brush. Doing it like this without that control can really make it difficult, so always just placing your pinky on your face, and that just gives you the control of your brush. And what I like to do is just drag the product down onto my eyelids, because next we are going to be working on the eyes. All right, for the top portion, I'm gonna go in with my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Hazelnut. I'm taking the same brush, guys, and doing the exact same thing. So for the middle, I like to just place some of that concealer. And then I go back in with a flat blending brush, and I'm gonna use that to just blend everything. So I do like to take my finger just to further blend the product. And last but not least, I just have to go through with a spoolie just to make sure the product is even and that my brows are even. All right, so that is it for brows. We're gonna move on to our eyes. So this is supposed to be an everyday eye look that we're going to be doing today. So I'm going in with the same concealer I used for the bottom portion of my brows to prime my eyelids. And this is just going to ensure that I get a really good pigment from the eyeshadow. I have naturally dark eyelids, so the eyeshadow will not pick up the way it would if I were to conceal. So that's why I always make sure to conceal, and I use a concealer 1 to 2 shades lighter than my complexion. Alright, so now for this step, you can go in with just some translucent powder to set your concealer. I personally like just going in right away with my eyeshadow powder, just because my lids are still tacky and I get a better color payout when the pigments just stick to my lids or stick onto that concealer. So I am not going to set it with any powder. I'm just gonna go straight into my eyeshadow palette, which is the NYX Ultimate Eyeshadow Palette. This is in the Warm Neutrals shades, so very, very natural neutral shadows for everyday wear. I'm gonna just create a very simple everyday look for you guys using this palette. So I am going in with my e.l.f. blending brush, and I'm gonna dip into this shade in the bottom row here, and I'm gonna use this as my transition color. And what I'm doing is just packing on that color first, and we're just gonna dab it in. And I'm applying the eyeshadow right above my crease. I'm not putting it in the crease, but I'm putting it above. And then what I like to do is start from the inner corner here and use circular motions to diffuse and blend out that color. And that is it. Now we're gonna go into our crease color. So I'm taking a more tapered blending brush. It's more pointy at the top, so you can get right in the crease. So I'm gonna go in with this shade here. And for your crease color, you do always want to go in with a shade that is deeper than your transition shade. That's how you get that kind of ombre effect to your eyeshadow. So I'm just gonna pack it in the crease first, and then kind of do the same thing and blend it out. With this color, I'm not bringing it into the inner corner. I'm going to stop just halfway. Alright, so now that you have your crease color down, you are not going to leave it like this. We're going to go back in with the e.l.f. blending brush. You can put a bit of the product on the brush, dust off the excess, and we're going to use circular motions to diffuse those two shades. So you don't want to see that harsh line. So we're going to just use circular motions and diffuse those two colors together. So it should look something like this. All right, so now what you want to do is go in with a flat brush. So I'm going to go in with this brush here. It's super flat, and this is going to be your lid color brush. So I'm going to go in with this nude shade here, and we're going to apply this all over the open space on our lids. Now, because this is a matte shade, I like to press the powder in instead of swiping it on. I find I swipe it on if it's more of a shimmer shade, but when it's a matte shade, I like to pack it on so that I do get that color payout. The last step is going back in with your e.l.f. blending brush, and we're going to just blend everything. So now I'm just taking my crease color brush and just making sure that those two shades, my lid shade and my crease shade, blend in seamlessly together. So going back in the palette, I'm gonna go into this very light white shade. I'm using the same brush I used for my lid color, and I'm just gonna apply it right where the arch is of my brows, and that's just gonna give a nice lifted effect. This step is optional, guys. I'm just doing it just for the sake of doing it today. But that's just gonna give a nice lifted effect to your brows. I do go back in with my e.l.f. blending brush and just making sure that it blends in seamlessly. All right, so eyeshadow isn't done. We're gonna do the bottom portion, but we are going to do our eyeliner now. So after you have done your eyeshadow and everything that you want to do on the top is done, that is when you move on to your eyeliner. So I'm gonna take my, of course, e.l.f. eyeliner, and we're just gonna create a nice natural winged liner. I do have a tutorial on this channel, but I'm going to kind of just explain how I personally like to do my eyeliner. Taking your eyeliner, you want to start from the middle of your eye and just create a line. So just create a nice line across your eyes like this from the middle. Next, you want to create your wings. So what I like to do is just start from the bottom lash line and up. So I just create a line up like that. And next what we want to do is bring the wing down. So I don't start from the tip of that line. I start maybe about like not halfway, but a little bit more than halfway, and bring it down to connect to the line here on my eyes. So I'm just gonna show you like that. And then from there, I just fill in that open space. And then from here, you're just kind of perfecting it at this point. So I'm just going to make a sharper line here. And then so now here is where you want to connect the rest of the wing. So I like to start from the inner corner and just create a line here. I'm just going to start here and create a line that connects to the line that I first created. And I forgot to mention, just like for your brows, how I told you to use your pinky as your guide. So wherever your pinky falls on your face, that is going to give you control of the brush. So I didn't mention that in the beginning, but that is a really good tip to just creating a nice winged liner. So that is about it. All right, so the next step is your lashes. So I am gonna be using these lashes today. These are from Ardell. So I do have a few detailed lash tutorials on my channel. So what I'm doing here is just applying my lash to the middle of my tweezer, right underneath the lash band, and I'm gonna apply some glue. I personally like using hair glue, but you can use any type of specific lash glue to apply to your lashes. And then you wanna make sure you have your mirror right underneath your chin so you could see the top portion of your lash line. And what you wanna do is just place it right as close as possible to your natural lash line. Like that. And it's very quick and easy, guys. I wear lashes every day, which is why it's so easy for me to pop on, but I do have some lash tutorials on my channel which you should check out. I'll leave it in the cards above for you to click on. So our eyes are almost done, guys. We're gonna move to the bottom portion of our eyes now. So I like to go in with some eyeliner before I do my eyeshadow. So I'm gonna go in with the Annabelle retractable eyeliner, and this is just a nice gliding smooth gel liner, and we're just gonna place this directly in the waterline. So now taking a small shader brush, so it's a very short and flat brush, and this is going to be the brush that we use to apply our bottom eyeshadow. So I'm gonna dip back into that deep brown shade, this one here, dust off the excess, and we're just gonna brush that along the bottom lash line. And this is gonna bring the whole eye look together. All right, so the last thing is your mascara. So if you are not a lash girl, you can do this step now, which is applying your mascara. So I'm going to be using the Ardell Foam Ink Mascara, and I'm just going to blend my natural lashes with my falsies first. Then I go in with a very light hand for my bottom lashes. All Alright guys, so that is it for our eyes, our everyday eyes. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side and just show you guys the complete look. You guys could already see the difference between the two. But yeah, so let me finish up this one off camera and then I'll be back just to show you guys the finishing look. Alright sis, so I finished up the rest of my makeup off camera. I did the other eye and just finished up my base makeup. So this is the finishing look. I showed you guys your eyebrows. I showed you guys a nice everyday eyeshadow look. I showed you guys how to apply liner and apply your lashes. So this is an everyday eye look tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys were able to take away from it as well. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.